Hello, my dear guys. I'm Ina Trush, you know this. I am the founder and CEO of the English Company. Welcome to our company. Welcome. Thank you that you have joined us. And basically today I'm introducing you one of our basic trainings for teachers about lesson structure. This training is going to be good for freshmen in our team, but I suppose that even our middle level, we can say, or maybe even senior teachers would find some interesting ideas here. Okay, so let's go. Basically, we're going to talk about it for approximately 30 minutes. I'm going to tell you about different variations of lesson structure, like the perfect lesson structure and the real lesson structure, how to make it, how to write in order to satisfy your students. Of course, after you have gained some basic experience, some couple more, a month or maybe half a year of experience, you will be able to adjust it yourself. But now let me give you some landmarks, print marks, or how you could be doing that. You know, basically when I was taking this kind of training 8 years ago, I wasn't conducting it. I was just a junior teacher who entered some company. They offered such a very interesting structure, which is quite fair, I would say, in case some conditions are fulfilled. Okay, so let's imagine you're having a trial lesson. So you already know the level of your students. Let's imagine it's pre-intermediate, although it doesn't matter in this talk. And you know that your trial lesson is going to be 90 minutes long. Let me introduce the structure on the example of 60 minutes. So first, of course, you have to introduce yourself and you have to make your students introduce themselves. So basically that's how it is, like this. So the first let's say 5-7 minutes, it's intro. You, so teacher, introduces and students introduce themselves. You can use some kind of activity for this. You know, for example, you could say this were a popular one with you say your name and then you say some adjective on the first letter of your name, and your students have to say something like that about themselves. For example, my name is Inna, so the first letter is I. Intriguing, I am intriguing. Or I'm interesting, I'm interactive, I'm interpersonal, something like that. And basically you could also be using some kind of a ball. So you say it about yourself, you throw it to your students, and they have to repeat about you and say their characteristics. This way it will help them to warm up their brain, to tense their brain a bit, and remember more new vocabularies. Also, it can be used a game like 2 truths and 1 lie. So you say 3 facts about you, 2 of them are truth and 1 is a lie. So your students have to guess, then they do the same with each other. Or there can be any other kind of introduction activities. If you are interested, please write in comments to this video. We'll dedicate the whole workshop to different warming up activities, because there are so many of them. It can be some energizing, you can be singing a song, you can be declaring some kind of a poem, or you could just give them 5 random facts about whatever, and they have to guess whether it's true or not, about English language, or about English learning, or about human brains, or about women or men differences, and so on, or about bacteria in our organism, so on. We'll dedicate a special workshop. If you need it, please let me know in the comments, in the feedback form after this workshop. So at the first part, then it was recommended that we for 10 minutes they just speak. So 5-10 minutes introduction, so target speaking. Then for 10 minutes you give them you either give them the topic to speak of, or they express in English what they would like to get from your course and from this particular lesson. So goal, lesson goals. Topic or lesson goals, or it can be something else, kind of a speaking. Maybe your students will ask you something. Maybe within this discussion there are going to be some topics, some like peculiarities arise, which you will need to explain to your students. So anyway, it's kind of speaking. Then you take approximately 20 minutes for learning some kind of vocabulary. Of course, in advance, when you're preparing to your class, you try to communicate with your students or with the methodologies, with the manager who curates the students, and you just ask them to give you the topic they are particularly interested in. Of course, we can prepare it ourselves, but it's always better to ask our students and prepare some targeted lesson for them, because this makes you special. You know how the system works. Usually companies make a tender. So a tender, it means they invite couple of schools to give introductory lessons, and they are choosing after the students, after the teachers have given the lesson. So basically your lesson is a deal breaker, in a good sense, is a deal breaker for them to cooperate with us. It means you have to make the wow effect. You have to be somehow special for them, and this is one of the things how you could do it. Prepare the topic in advance, what they want. You know, you will have the level, you will have the topic, so basically you have prepared a tailored lesson, which is like one big advantage in your side. So again, this classical structure recommends that 20 minutes you dedicate to vocabulary. How to teach vocabulary in the most efficient way? Please watch our vocabulary training, how to teach vocabulary efficiently. There are the techniques, but the general idea is that you introduce vocabulary better in context, then you practice, and then so you help your students to practice, and then your students introduce some kind of a product. So they have created an essay, a story, at least sentences with this new given vocabulary. So they have told you about their contexts. Their contexts. So these are not random words for them. They have told you something about their life, their work, their routines, their challenges using these new words, and you specifically control it. Like they have to use minimum 3-5 vocabs from you have given to them. This is the quick outline, more detailed information with game, with card, with everything, with different helpful materials. Please look at this, our vocabulary, how to teach vocabulary training. The next, so basically it's already, let's say 35 minutes in perfect case. In live, it's really going to be 40 or 45 minutes, because sometimes you cannot just stop the exercise immediately. Sometimes you need some after talk. You need to elicit the mistakes of your students, to explain them. You need to give some remarks and so on and so on. So in fact, it's going to be already, let's be optimistic, 40 minutes, but in reality, it's going to be 45 minutes, I'm sure. So the next section, not so much time to be left, you know. I'll stick to this. No, I will just reserve this extra time in which comes for something. And the next section is approximately 15 minutes. It's vocabulary, so grammar. You also have to show them that it's blood time, blah time. So you also have to show them that you're good at teaching grammar, because most obviously your students want vocabulary and grammar from you. We're going to talk about it a little later. But you need to show this. And again, the idea is very simple. You take one simple idea So you don't take complicated topic. Obviously, you don't take a 1-hour lecture for them, even though it's useful. First time, they just want emotions from you and little learning, not vice versa. So you take one simple topic or idea and you follow the same routine. It's introduction in the context, practice, and product from your students. So they have to have really one very exact, very particular, very clear product for them, which they have taken from your lesson, some vocabulary product and some grammar product. And basically you see it's already 60 minutes. So summer it's already 60, maybe even 65 minutes. Yeah. Basically, if your lesson, if your trial lesson is 1 hour, this is more than enough. If your trial lesson is 90 minutes, how you use the other time, you know? I would really recommend you to use 5 minutes more on 5 minutes. Or in case your lesson is 60 minutes, you just take 5 minutes from the vocabulary section. You do it like this, you know, you cut it out in order to get everything like everything fulfilled. So you really need these 5 minutes for the feedback or for some kind of wrapping up, you know, for making the resume. So here you make feedback. So you ask your students to give you feedback. How you do it, you have already been told about it, I'm sure, but still, you ask a score, maximum 5 or maximum 10, whatever you want to, but better maximum 5 for our unified system. Then you ask them to describe what was good, what they liked, what they found useful, and what was not enough or what they would like to add. You ask this kind of a feedback. They can write them on pieces of paper. It takes 1-2 minutes. Also, you could ask, you could wrap up the material, so it can be some resume, say something like, okay guys, so today we have learned this, this and this, you have tried this and this and this, you have practiced this. I'm giving you this kind of a home task because it's again one more psychological trick, because this way you show that you are waiting to continue having lessons with this group. It's not even you're waiting. For you, it's so natural that you would continue your classes with them. Of course, it was a trial lesson, but we are continuing, aren't we? That's why you're giving them the home task with a demanding tone. Like, guys, next time I will check it. So basically, this way you program your students to continue next time. And you give them hope that you're also a strict, demanding teacher who will push them to learn. Like this. This is what you dedicate your final 5 minutes of lesson. Basically, it can take even more. It can take 15 minutes, but you just can limit your students and say like, guys, sorry, we have only 60 minutes. Okay, I can dedicate you 5 more. I'm sorry, I really need to run. But if you want to continue, let's continue next time on our lesson. This is again some kind of anchor which you put on our cooperation. But you really have to look here on the situation. Maybe you really like the students, maybe you really like cooperating with them, and you just enjoy speaking so much. Of course, you could dedicate little time more, but not that much time, not to spoil your students, especially from the very first time. Or I would offer you another strategy. If you're having trial lesson of 90 minutes, you dedicate this. You see, there are like 30 minutes or 25, let's say 25 minutes left, and they are basically, I would really recommend you to dedicate this time to these things. So you discuss the feedback, you discuss wrap up resume, and you also discuss your future program. So maybe you don't know what they want already, but you ask your students to give you the ideas what they would like to have as your future program. If they have any questions, you answer the questions. And also you give some of our psychological tricks. So you are saying, okay, so please by next time, By next time, it's important, again, the anchor for cooperation. By next time, I'm asking you to create a goal for you for next 6 months. For 6 months. And think about one simple action which you could be doing to complete this goal a day. One simple action which you could be doing to complete this goal a day. Again, this way you are anchoring them for our future cooperation. You shouldn't be given too much, you shouldn't be trying too much, because if one person, in our case a teacher, worries too much, the students are over relaxed. It's not how it's supposed to be. They should be a little bit like not tense, but not getting enough of you, this feeling like the first date, he should not be feeling enough of you. This way he'll invite you to the second date. I'm talking about girls, but for boys it works as well, I suppose. So we still keep here a little mystery, but we are like opening the shade that in future it's going to be even more interesting. Also, you could talk about here little bit, be very careful, because those can be long time conversation, but what they want from you, what they would like to get, little bit talk about their fears, about some kind of complexes in English learning, and so on, but again, not too much, because we have to proceed to the next time. So you're just given the outline of what you're going to do then. So this kind of strategy could be really good for a trial lesson. Hold on. We're still recording, it's good. This kind of a strategy can be really good. I would say it's perfect for a trial lesson, because during the trial lesson you show that you're ready to fulfill their desires, right? To build the program, to tailor the program according to their wishes. You are ready to give like complex program to your students, so you do care about vocabulary and grammar. You're also ready to listen to them and be working with their psychological side, because it's the second win of our program. The first win of our program, 2 wins, the first win is hard skills, so English teaching, and the second, we work with psychology of our students. So you show that you are ready to move beyond the classical program and tell them a little bit about the psychological tricks. Again, in some next workshops, I'm definitely going to explicit all of that. You're showing that you can, click between different topics quite easily, quite quickly, and you're showing that you're fun to be with. You are, like the universe, so undiscovered yet, so unknown yet, and there is so much you can give to your students that you are definitely set to to intrigue them. Although, of course, sometimes it may not happen. You may do the best, but your students still not like you, not choose you, or some chemistry didn't happen. So basically, students claim to want to have English classes, but maybe in fact they just want to chat and relax, not learn, not tense, nothing like that. Or maybe there are some other criteria. Don't worry. Your work is to get this done maximum by maximum percentage. And basically there is still your students' work is to analyze, to estimate your work and choose you. But in case they don't, okay, what to do next time, you will be a little bit better, a little bit more experienced, and they are definitely set to choose you. Okay, but basically I would like now, it's the end of section 1 of our topic. But I would like to give you more extended knowledge, because this kind of structure, which may seem so perfect and so great, may not work in long-term perspective. What do I mean? What do I mean? Yeah, this is so good for a trial lesson. But then within this trial lesson, on this section, I would also, in this future program section, I really recommend you to estimate, to ask about the aims or goals of your students, what they want, what they feel the necessity to work out first. I can bet, I'm pretty much sure that they will give you such kind of a structure. First of all, we want to speaking. Not always, yeah, but in 80% of cases, it's going to be speaking. Sometimes if these are high-level students, like advanced level students, intermediate, upper intermediate, high-level students, they're okay with speaking. They just want more, being more confident, being more sure, being more assured, make their language more assured. So they would need grammar, just, you know, to put this puzzle in the right, to put all the puzzles in the right position, so still build the structure. Grammar, or maybe they want some vocabulary, and even less likely they want writing, listening, and almost never people ask for pronunciation, because pronunciation can be a specific course, basically the same as writing. So I almost guarantee you, okay, even 85-89% of cases, it will be on speaking plus either focus on grammar or focus on vocabulary. So you have to tell your students, and you have to decide them with them. You have to decide it with them and decide it for yourself. For this group, is it going to be grammar or vocabulary focus? Basically, it's going to be a big surprise, but we cannot focus on multiple things at the same time. I mean, yes, we can focus, but we have to set the priority. It's either vocabulary or grammar. If you think that this is vocabulary, so speaking and vocabulary are two big priorities, and this we do, yeah, of course we deliver those kind of knowledge, but it's not priority number one. We do it in case we have worked out these points well. So when you set the priority, you have to build your lesson in a little bit different way. So yes, it's still going to be like this, 5-10 minutes introduction. Yes, you should really put your speaking part. I will be taken from here. Speaking part. Yes, introduction, speaking part, or also here it can be test part. So something you have learned on the previous lesson, you give them in a very easy test. It can be something to translate. It can be very simple dictation. It can be something else. Maybe you want them to do something else, but then it goes analysis. Analyze. You analyze and you discuss it with your students. So it can be either speaking or test. You can switch it one by one, or 2 lessons speaking, 1 lesson test, like this. So your students also have to feel tension. They have to feel tense that you are interested in their progress, that you are going to check what they have learned at home. In case they haven't learned at home, they have to give some kind of a compensation. For example, buy pizza for everyone, buy chocolate to a teacher, make some funny, stupid, ugly actions, and so on. But about this, we're going to talk in the psychology section. So, yes. But here we had this kind of a structure, yeah? And if we have 90 minutes, we can dedicate 15 minutes to different psychological tricks. There is something to talk about. We could spend 20 minutes here, 20 minutes here. Also, we could have the product section. If we have not a trial lesson, just a regular lesson, you don't need to dedicate 30 minutes each time, of course, to be talking about goals. No, you could dedicate 15 minutes, just guys, how are you? Are you working on your goals? Please tell me, what have you learned? What have you done this week to achieve your goal in 6 months? So again, you should be asking all of these questions. I will tell about that on our workshop. But no need to talk about it each lesson for 30 minutes, so it can be 15 minutes and a little bit more time to grammar, vocabulary, and product. So some general lesson of product of a lesson. So you have product in vocabulary, you have product in grammar, and it can be some mutual product. Let's say they are making, hold on. They are making some kind of, again, story together, essay, orally together. They are doing something, some role play, some dialogue, so on, in order to deliver the product of the lesson. This is also a very good strategy. And although, if we are having, after you have decided on their focus, yeah, so the speaking fluency, language fluency plus vocabulary. Let's imagine speaking is priority number 1, vocabulary priority number 2, and grammar priority number 3, writing no, listening priority number 4. So you have set here on the trial lesson in the discussion of future program, you have set these priorities, and for example, vocabulary is priority number 2. So speaking, you're going to speak within every lesson, but what to do with the vocabulary? So you build your program like that. That it is, okay, maybe too big, maybe a little bit smaller, like this. This is your time for vocabulary or for grammar, for your target topic, right? Of course, you can combine them from time to time. If the target is grammar and vocabulary, just nice to have, you follow the structure, something like 4 lessons of grammar, 1 vocabulary, 1 speaking. 3 lessons of grammar, 1 vocabulary, 1 speaking. Or 4 lessons of grammar, 1 vocabulary, 1 speaking. You need this discussion each time on the feedback section or after each lesson, just to understand what are you giving to your students. Is it fine, or they would like something else? We shouldn't guess, we should just ask. But let's imagine they want to work on their vocabulary. So this approximately 40, maybe even 50 minutes. You see, so quite huge amount of time. You dedicate, let's imagine, to vocabulary or to grammar. So priority number 2. To priority number 1, you speak all the time. So you speak at the introduction, you speak at the speaking section, or when discussing test analysis, when given test analysis, you speak here, you speak everywhere. So speaking is like by default, you know, whatever you're teaching else. But vocabulary here, you work out it better because, you know, there are people of different tempers. There are just a little bit more slow learners or more deep learners. So people who want to dig in, who want, for example, if they have learned 15 vocabularies, they want to try them in this way, in this way, in this way. So, or they can be just tired after the work, and this is a good, fun, you know, like energizing structure, which is again so good from time to time of a trial lesson. But on regular basis, after people are really tired, they would prefer this kind of, when you're taking one subject and we're digging into that. Sometimes instead of vocabulary, as I said, it can be grammar, sometimes it can be speaking, sometimes it can be watching a film. But you just take one topic and you dedicate like 75% of your attention to it. And basically what's to do after that? I would really even offer you like 9-10 minute buffer. Then it can be, let's imagine it's buffer, right? And then it can be, yes, we still can dedicate, let's say 20 plus 50. So we have 20 minutes left, imagine, right? After this section, we have 20 minutes left. So 10 minutes you dedicate to some product. It can be just you speak, you know, students just speak, or they make their own something with this material learned. Of course, you will be doing that during practicing of the topic of the lesson, but here it's just the product, not only including this topic, but can be the product of all of the lesson or of the product of couple previous lessons. So you're saying, okay guys, today we have learned these 15 new vocabularies, but let's remember what kind of grammar we learned on the previous lesson, and let's combine. And here you give them some kind of speaking activities where they will have to use the grammar learned on the previous lesson and some new vocabulary combined. So this is the product, very specific, very clear, very exact, concise things which they have learned learned within which they have taken, which they're about to take from this lesson or from this lesson and previous lesson. And again, 10 minutes. You still have 10 minutes. It's good to have them as a buffer. 10-15 minutes here. It is your talking, feedbacks. Let's discuss feedback. You're just talking to them, maybe some things I will give them to you, some like tricks how to learn vocabulary better or more efficiently, how to start using vocabulary in their speech, how to overcome the fear of speaking, how to dedicate less time to homework. So different tricks how to, and some more psychological tricks. So because I will tell you, I will give this to you, but also there are